we will end our recess from Friday, September 11th, and we'll now resume our final remaining items for the budget workshops for the county council. This is kind of a good news Tuesday. I think we're going to hear some good positive news here at this meeting. I'll save some of that for Mr. McKim's presentation or update here a little bit later. But another bit of good news is this is going to be our final budget session. So we'll get everything wrapped up today, and looking forward to that. I really, really hope that we can keep this to 1 hour today so that we can wrap up at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And I know everybody has a lot of obligations and things going on. So hopefully we can stick to that time frame and get all this wrapped up by 1 p.m. So this is what we'll do today. We're going to have our first item will be reviewing our council budget. And Kim, did you have something to?
Sorry, have you taken roll call for the record?
No, not yet.
Thank you.
But I will. So we'll do our council budget today. We'll also look at different budget adjustments that will be made. We'll have Mr. McKim provide an update on the 4B and the lit special purpose and public safety lit. We'll have a discussion about COLA towards the end, cost of living adjustment for county employees. And then we can have some final council comments at that point as well too, before we adjourn all of these, the series of meetings that we've been having. So at this time, we'll do a quick roll call of council members present. Please have your microphones unmuted as I call the roll here, and just indicate by voice that you're present for us. Councilmember Deckard.
Here.
Councilmember Hawk.
Yes.
Councilmember Iverson.
Here.
Councilmember McKim.
Here.
Councilmember Munson. Councilmember Munson is not present. And Councilmember Wiltz.
Here.
Okay.
Councilmember Munson just joined, by the way.
Okay, so we'll let her get into the room here and indicate that she is. Scrap that. There we go.
Hello, I'm here.
All right, we're getting through the roll call there. So
Just letting me in, not in time.
Councilmember Munson is present, ready to go. Okay. So yeah, we'll now get started with the council budget review, and Ms. Shell, I believe, will be presenting that for us.
If I can find it here, hold on. Council, I move to open for discussion and review Fund 1000-0061-0000, General Fund Council. Personnel category is $316,809, supplies $1,100, services $243,510, capital $0, for a total budget of $561,419.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Who would like to get started on questions or discussion for the council budget for 2021?
Well, I figured Michelle might want to.
Yeah, do you want to give us some, what are the notable items here for us?
Okay, let's see, am I unmuted? Yes, I am. So what I wanted to bring to your attention is the part-time hourly line. The auditor's office has asked that we take over the part-time hourly person that is typing the verbatim minutes for the council. Currently, that person is working 28 hours a week. So that amount would cost $27,664 plus the FICA. I budgeted for 25 hours for 24,700. That being because beginning in January, Megan, our council assistant who works, who is paid by the auditor's office, will begin taking over the summary council minutes. And so that will relieve the part-time person from that duty, because it is in the assistant's job description to do summary minutes. The other note that I made is
Copy, Pat. Pat. Can I do what?
There we go.
oh, okay, sorry. So the other thing that we did was we increased the contractual to 100,000, and that is for the WIS study with regards to the job descriptions and the salary compensation grids for all county employees, including the electeds. There was an error in last year's budget with regards to training and travel. This amount here covers in what I assume for next year would be all the council members, myself, Margie, and the council assistant. Then we also increased the Sophia Travis Community Services by the MLG. So it was increased from 130,000 to 135,400, and that's the
Growth quotient.
changes.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Ms. Shell. Looks like Councilmember Hawk would like to get started.
Yes, can you report to me if indeed that amount was reduced from the auditor's budget for that part-time expense? If she's moving it over to ours, then it should be reduced from hers.
I believe that was it. Hold on, and I can tell you.
And please tell us how much we reduced from hers.
Can you hear me, Marty?
Yes.
Okay, no, it was not reduced. What we did was we used the Megan's salary to pay her. Now Megan makes her salary. So when we paid her out of the auditor's budget, we used Megan's line. When we hired Megan, I had to lay off my other part-time people, and I used their salary money to pay her, because it was basically double dipping. Does that make sense?
Well, no, it really doesn't. I don't think that was conveyed properly to the council, but that's just my 2 cents worth, and I know we're short of time, so I can just address it how I would.
But now the general fund budget has been zeroed out for part-time.
But you have part-time in other lines, in other portions.
Yes, that was not used for verbatim minutes. Megan's salary was when she was hired, she did not want to work full-time. So she was paid part-time out of Megan's line.
Because that position was vacant.
Exactly.
Okay, let's just move on. I don't have to agree, just move on. We're out of time.
Any other questions or comments on the council budget?
No, I just want to make sure that having the appropriation in 2021 for WIS will be adequate, or if we think we're going to have to do an additional yet this year to make those payments.
I have not received anything from WIS with regards to payment. I do know that I will be encumbering some from this year, at least 3,000 in contractual. So that will give us, 103. But I can check with them. They just haven't answered, so at this point.
They usually bill pretty, I mean, they never bill early. It's
No.
always, it always comes late.
Right. I understand. Okay.
But we'll
Thanks.
want to, I mean, this is something that could, I mean, we may not see the final bill until 2022. I hope we can get it paid in 2021 though. I saw Councilmember Hawk's hand first, then Mr. Iverson, then Mr. Deckard, and then,
Right, I'd like to see the amount that we are paying extra to them to come up with the elected official salaries, because clearly we're not gonna be paying any attention to that anyway. And we really don't need them to tell us. We can look at what other elected officials are making without paying anybody to do that. So I'm just saying, that's my 2 cents for the record. Don't need to argue any further.
okay.
Well, my understanding is that the agreement is for 98,000, which includes the elected officials.
I'm
Is,
not saying that
is Margie on here?
we're in a hurry. I just wanted to make it clear, if we're not going to listen to what they tell us about it, any of the rest of it, then why are we going to think that we need them to tell us what elected officials make? We can do that without going to them. But
We
moving.
could, I don't know if we had them kind of parse that out, the amounts, versus the employees and the classification versus the elected officials' compensation. But we could ask them, how much do you intend of this 98,000 to be devoted to the elected official analysis? My hunch is that would be a very small sliver of the total cost.
What would, sorry.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I'll check with Margie too.
I'm on the call, and they did not, for
Okay.
the record, break down what it would cost to do the elected official salaries. We can
That's-
ask, you take that out, we can certainly ask them, but again, it's not in there right now as a separate amount.
And I think, Margie, I haven't mentioned this to you yet, but we should, we may want to get a call scheduled with WIS just to kind of talk through some of the next steps. Would that be okay?
Oh, absolutely. Yep, we can get that scheduled whenever you want.
Okay, great.
Do you want to do that at the September work session? If possible?
I'm not sure when the best timing would, let me think about that, but I'll be in touch later today.
Okay.
Okay. So I know,
One more.
okay, go ahead.
Try to make it quick. All right. Would we also be asking them what is an appropriate amount to give for meeting certain certifications? Because we're hearing back from many departments that if one department gets extra amount for certifications, they believe in order to be fair, they should be considered too. So whether we're going to decide that on our own or whether we're going to ask for WIS's recommendation, we need to figure that out.
Yes, I agree. And that'll be part of the conversation I want to have with WIS as well too. But that's a very good point, and thank you for raising that. Mr. Iverson,
No further comment.
Mr. Deckard,
No, I'm going to withdraw my comment so we can keep moving.
does
Thanks.
Ms. Munson have a question or comment? And Mr. McKim, saw your
I'm
hand.
also withdrawing my comment.
Okay. Everybody good? Do we have anything else we want to? Okay. Did you have your hand up, Ms. Wiltz?
I did, and I'm good. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we'll, if there's nothing further, we'll take a roll call vote to accept the council budget here.
Councillor Iverson,
Yes.
Councillor Munson,
Yes.
Councillor Deckard,
Yes.
Councillor Wiltz,
Yes.
Councillor Hawk,
No.
Councillor McKim,
Yes.
Councillor Spoonmore.
Yes.
Motion passed majority 6-1.
Okay, we'll now have some time that we'll take for any adjustments now that we've reviewed all the budgets. I believe we have some adjustments and perhaps some motions. Mr. McKim?
Yes, the first motion I'm going to make is going to move a few expenses from technical services general fund to cable franchise fees. And I have spoken with Angie about this. She did not object. Council, I move that we open budget 1000-0106 technical services general fund and reduce the following lines. 30022 long distance from 1,500 to zero, 30025 maintenance from $10,000 to zero, 30028 training/travel from $12,000 to zero.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Any discussion for Mr. McKim or the motion? Okay, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote.
Counselor McKim,
Yes.
Counselor Deckard,
Yes.
Counselor
My
Wiltz,
light on there.
Yes.
Counselor Hawk,
Yes.
Counselor Iverson,
Yes.
Counselor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Counselor Munson.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
Okay, and we've got I'm sure we'll have another motion here.
Pat, would you bring my coffee over here?
Okay, go.
Oh, you have to wait and let me make the adjustment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, there's your new bottom line.
Do you want me to read it or are you going to read it, Jeff?
Yeah. No, why don't you read the bottom lines?
Okay. So council, I move that we review and approve the Technical Services Department General Fund 1000-0106 as amended with the personnel category still at 178,973. The supplies category at 11,600. And the services category now at $230,000 for a total of $420,573.
Second.
Okay. Anything further? Any questions or comments on the motion? All right, we'll do a roll call vote.
Counselor Munson,
Yes.
Counselor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Counselor Iverson,
Yes.
Counselor Hawk,
Yes.
Counselor Wiltz,
Yes.
Counselor Deckard,
Yes.
Counselor McKim.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
Okay, council, I move we open budget 2502-0000 cable franchise user fee fund and create the following lines. 30022 long distance and appropriate $1,500, 30025 maintenance and appropriate $10,000, and 30028 training/travel and appropriate $12,000.
Second.
Okay. Did you have a question, Ms. Hawk?
Right. I was hoping we would know whether or not this was the appropriate time to decide on perhaps more money for Cats TV to get them to do further recordings for us, but maybe this is not the correct time. We can always do that another time, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about an amended agreement or anything or
Right.
but I
Okay.
certainly support it in principle.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion or questions from council?
One thing can I add to that is Cats began covering the Women's Commission, and I'm not sure that the price went up for that. So I would want to know from them what cost would be what an allocation before we just threw money in here to do that. Although as a kid that grew up learning about government by watching Cats, I'm all for any expansion that we can do. But if I'd like to hear from them what that cost would be.
I believe the Women's Commission is in the Nat U Hill room, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I
But
wonder
the
if some of these other bodies that we would like to see covered, I don't believe meet in a location where Cats is currently set up. And so that would probably contribute to the additional cost. But if we can get those bodies to meet in one of those locations that currently exist where Cats already set up, we may be able to save some dollars that way. Yeah. Ms. Hawk?
Yes, it would seem to me if those meetings are being held by Zoom, and I was specifically thinking about the Ellisville Board of Zoning Appeals,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
they were able to get, but also if they did the Tourism Commission meetings, those meetings that are really tied to spending public dollars, if they're done by Zoom, I would think it would be easily enough covered by Cats, but whatever, I think we absolutely have to start doing that. It's millions of dollars and we need to cover it.
Yep.
And any meeting on Zoom should just, I mean, it's so easy to record those anyways. They should always be recorded no matter what, even if Cats is there or not, and then housed somewhere on the county website. Okay, I don't want to take up too much more time. Any other last questions before we vote? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Munson,
Yes.
Counselor Hawk,
Yes.
Counselor Deckard,
Yes.
Counselor McKim,
Yes.
Counselor Wiltz,
Yes.
Counselor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Counselor Iverson.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
Okay, just give me a moment, please. Okay, I think I've got it.
All right,
Okay.
thank you, Michelle.
Sorry, I should have probably looked at this more closely while you were working. Council, I move that we approve the Commissioner's Cable Franchise User Fee Fund 2502-0000 as amended in the services category to $373,501 for a total budget of $373,501.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion on this before we vote to accept the budget? All right. Seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Iverson,
Yes.
Counselor Spoonmore,
Yes?
Counselor Wiltz,
Yes.
Counselor McKim,
Yes.
Counselor Deckard,
Yes.
Counselor Hawk,
Yes.
Counselor Munson.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
Right, and I've got one more. This is going to be moving a few expenses from the auditor's general fund to auditor's ineligible deduction fund. And I appreciate the auditor going through her budget and looking at these lines carefully. So council, I move we open budget 1000-0002 auditor general fund and make the following changes. Reduce 20003 printing/copy from $1,200 to $0. Reduce line 30005 dues from $1,100 to $0. Reduce 32005 legal notices from $7,000 to $0. Reduce 17801 part-time from $10,000 to $0. And reduce 30006 contractual services from $100,000 to $81,800.
You don't have a second yet.
Second.
Okay. Ms. Hawk, did you have a question?
Right, I don't see the part-time. It's in there now at 10,000. Is that the amount you said to change to $0?
Correct.
And the amount that was said just a minute ago, they didn't have part-time in there? Oh, well,
Yeah, they had part-time.
They said they had part-time in there.
yeah, right, okay.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on Mr. McKim's motion? Okay, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Okay.
Counselor Spoonmore,
Yes?
Counselor Iverson,
Yes.
Counselor Munson,
Yes.
Counselor McKim,
Yes.
Counselor Deckard,
Yes.
Counselor Hawk,
To be clear, this is just a motion to reduce those lines, correct?
Yes.
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 Counselor Wiltz.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, there's the updated amounts.
Okay, council, I move that we review and approve the auditor's budget as amended, and I don't see the account number, but it's 1000-0
002.
002, thank you. And as amended for the following categories. So personnel, $796,779, and in services,
Supplies,
Supplies is now $0 and services is $81,800 for a total of $878,579.
Second.
Okay, any discussion or questions on Ms. Wiltz's motion to accept the budget? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote to accept the amended general fund budget for the auditor.
Counselor Wells,
Yes.
Counselor Hawk,
Yes, no. That's a good-
Counselor
No.
Decker,
Do you need me to say that again?
no, it's okay. I got it. It's no, right?
Okay,
Counselor Deckard,
Yes.
Counselor McKim,
Yes.
Counselor Munson,
yes,
Counselor Iverson,
Yes.
Counselor Spoonmore.
Yes,
Motion passed majority 6-1.
thank you.
Right, and then here's the other half. Council, I move we open budget 1216-0000, auditor ineligible deduction fund, and make the following changes. Increase 17,801 part-time from $30,000 to $40,000. Increase 20003 printing/copy from 10,000 to 15,000. Create line 30005 dues and appropriate $1,100. Increase 3006 contractual services from $50,000 to $75,000 and create line 32005 legal notices and appropriate $10,000.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion or questions for Mr. McKim on his motion?
You know, we all know that auditors ineligible deduction will not last forever, but it does have a pretty healthy cash balance right now. And I greatly appreciate the auditor going through and figuring out what could easily be moved.
Okay. If there's nothing further, we will do a roll call vote on the motion.
Counselor Wiltz,
Yes.
Counselor Iverson,
Yes.
Counselor Hawk,
yes,
Counselor Spoonmore,
Yes,
Counselor Deckard,
Yes.
Counselor Munson,
yes,
Counselor McKim.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
thank you.
Counselor Spoonmore, while Kim is working her magic, I did want to share some good news with you. We received a notice from the state this morning that they have agreed to our reimbursement for the CARES work, the CARES FEMA stuff that we're asking for reimbursement, the
yeah.
state portion. That's a significant amount of money, and I wanted to let all the counselors know that that will refund our expenses that we have taken out of rainy day and various places. So I thought that might give you some comfort.
That is terrific news. Thank you so much for that information.
good news.
How much total?
Bree, are you listening? I don't know if she can be unmuted, but Bree is the superstar as a project manager on this account, and she could tell you.
Okay. And it's no rush on it. I'm sure we'll be hearing more tomorrow at the commissioners meeting. Yep.
I will pull that now and put it in the comments as soon as I have the exact amount.
Great.
Just have to look find my email. Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like
Michelle, do we have the numbers ready?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, Council, I move that we approve the auditor ineligible deduction fund as amended, and that is Fund 1216-0000 with $49,519 in the personnel category and $20,000 in the supplies category and $95,000 in the services category for a total of $164,519.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, any further discussion on this before we take a roll call vote? Seeing none, Ms. Miller will have a roll call vote to accept the auditor and eligible deduction fund budget as amended, please.
Councilor McKim,
Yes.
Councilor Munson,
yes,
Councilor Deckard,
Yes.
Councilor Swimmer,
Yes?
Councilor Hawk,
Yes.
Councilor Iverson,
Yes.
Councilor Wills.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you. Okay, any further adjustments that council members would like to make at this time? All right. Seeing none, we will move on to our next item, which is just a quick update on the 4B and our lit funding.
Okay. May I, let's see, may I share my screen?
Yes, and I totally forgot to update the health number.
Oh, no, I did it though.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's
Thanks.
okay. Okay, council. So today is September 15th, and that is the day that the state is required to produce this year their first real estimate of the lit certified distributions, which they do at an aggregate for the whole county by category of tax, not the individual distributions to individual taxing units. So what we've got is just a high level estimate, but generally the individual allocations aren't going to differ that much from, between the units. So just to show you what you're seeing right now, I know it's probably pretty hard to see, but this is the state's report by county for expenditures for certified shares, public safety, economic development, correctional facilities, property tax relief, special purpose, and then the total increase. So this is all on the state budget agency's website, and I also put a copy in the Dropbox, and Kim can also send out a link to it if you want to look at it in detail. But let me just show the change in Monroe County's lit compared to last year. Sorry, I'm just going to switch to another page. Okay, everybody see the Excel spreadsheet? So what I did is, and this again, this is for overall for the county across all taxing units. What we're seeing is from 2020 to 2021, based on this report, a 9.3% increase. And of course, that increase is consistent because it's countywide across certified shares, across public safety, and across special purpose, which is tremendous news. I mean, that is, the original estimate that we were working on was 90% of 2020s. And as it turns out, it's actually, 109%. Of 2020s. And so that clearly the economy, this is the 2019 economy, but the 2019 economy was roaring for Monroe County until we hit the COVID speed bump, which is really, really good news for us as far as the ability to make sure that we have plenty of reserves in hand for the next couple of years when we really will see the hit. So I'll show that on the 4B in just a minute. But does anybody have any comments or anything they want to say about the lit?
Councilmember Hawk.
Yes, if you'll notice the difference in the public safety going up by that much, and the percent that they used when they were figuring out what our amount was going to be, they were using the 90% of the 2020. So with that additional amount going up over $800,000, our proportionate share of that will certainly be a great deal of money, a great deal of money. Of course, you're going, I think we may have to take another look, because do we do the PSAP in the form of a percent when they do all the percents that they send into the state? Because that percent will surely be reduced, because the percent of the PSAP of that total amount will be way more than what PSAP needs. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. The other thing is with the special purpose, when we put that in place, Judge Galvin made it clear to us that if that started bringing in more than what was needed, we could always reduce that percent. Now, I'm not suggesting we do that right now, but I'm suggesting we keep an eye on that, because that is a huge amount, more than $3.5 million to come in for that purpose. And to the extent that it might not be needed, we need to just be watching that.
Thank you. Councilmember Munson.
Yes, I want to have us know that with the increase in public safety lit, that we should at a future date consider the fire department's request, because the Public Safety Committee recommended 0% tax rate for any funding for rural fire departments. And we already know about their needs. We've discussed it at previous council meetings and budget hearings too. And I would like us to consider this in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's,
Councilmember Hawk.
I think it's probably too late to go back there and have when did the city make that decision?
Right. If it is too late for having it come directly from public safety as an amount taken before the certified shares are divided, then then we can perhaps consider this from the revenue that the increased revenue from that the county will receive.
We should certainly consider
discuss
that.
that sometime. Not now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mr. Iverson.
I just want to echo something that's already been said. I think it bears repeating that these numbers reflect how great 2019 was as a year in arrears. And it really shows how we need to be looking forward to see how COVID-19 has affected our community. This is definitely great news. And this will help us plan for the rough years ahead. So this is really good news, but at the same time, we need to plan for ahead.
Yes, thank you. Anything further?
I can let me show the 4B, the draft 4B then. Okay, there we go. And here's okay. So we've adjusted it to accommodate all the budgetary changes that were already made. And then I also, for the lit estimate now, because we don't know exactly what our distribution was, I used an 8% increase. So it's slightly under what the overall increase is, just because we might see something a little bit less based on what other units do. And so I put that in 8% increase for both the certified shares and for public safety. And so this is what we see right now.
Okay.
And by the way, I am not at, I think we do, it is clear that I think there are some things that we're going to want to add to the budget. I think I'm hoping we'll discuss immediately after this conversation, a cost of living increase for county employees, which will, of course, reduce that surplus. Well, not in this meeting, but we will be discussing a merit deputy contract soon. And we had a couple of positions that we took out of the budgets to go through the WIS process that might at some point be added back in. So, there's that number is certainly, that surplus is certainly going to go down. And then the other thing, I think, after the dust clears on the budget and we have an approved budget, we're going to want, and we get our final certification of lit, I think we're going to want to consider making another transfer to rainy day to be able to make sure that our reserves are in place and not accidentally spent, I guess, so that we know we'll be in good stead over the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are there any other questions for Mr. McKim or regarding this very positive news here? Okay. Yes, Michelle?
I wanted to know if Jeff wanted the new general fund number as we make those changes.
Sure.
The general fund is 36,714,559.
Great, thank you. And I just saved that change, so so that surplus even went up a little bit more. Thank you very much. Again, I'm really, I can't even express how kind of relieved I am that the economy did so well in 2019 that hopefully it'll help carry us through the next couple of lean years.
Well, and I'm glad we took a very cautious approach to this as well, too, because there was so much that was unknown to us in April and May and June. And as the information started to come in, it helped us really be able to make informed decisions. And we never want to be in a position where we're overcommitting too early. And so I thank all of you for taking that approach to our budget process as well, too. So why don't we, I guess we can move now into that cost of living adjustment discussion. And we have a few options to look at here. Michelle, did you have information to present for this?
Oh, she's on mute.
I had forwarded earlier different percentages. You could either go with the percentages that like a percentage wise.
Are you able to share your screen? And
yep. One moment.
So kind of the idea that we were looking at was either just a flat amount or a percentage amount. And that's really I think the decision that we'll need to make today is how we want to address it, either at a flat rate or through a percent increase. Yes, Ms. Hawk?
Yes, perhaps this was discussed and I missed it somehow. Have we heard yet whether or not any additional amount for insurance is going to be charged to I didn't think we had. Because remember, it costs a certain amount to have insurance, whether you're making $30,000 a year or you're an employee making $80,000 a year. That insurance cost to the employee is not tied to how much money you make. So that's the reason why I would support trying to make sure we do it as a flat increase this year again.
Okay. All right, I have a couple things here, so let me get back to. Okay, with regards to the insurance, we have budgeted that amount for $10,500, and the commissioners, Angie Purdy's commissioner's administrator, has been working with Apex with regards to those amount, and they have us, or had suggested that amount be $10,574. So she believes that we have enough in our surplus that we don't even need to raise the insurance at all for this year.
But I think Councilor Hawk was talking about the employee premium, not the employer portion.
I wonder if that's
Right.
on the other page.
I don't want to put her on the spot, but if Ms. Purdy's on the call, she may want to address whether or not the commissioners have even made a decision on that yet.
Yeah, hi there. I can speak up a little bit. My understanding is, and I'm looking for the document actually, is that they're holding it flat for our employees for next year's benefits.
I would hope so.
That's great.
Big health insurance companies are making record profits right now. And I would hope that those costs would be flat at the minimum.
Well, the problem is that, we're self-insured. And so, we've had a great year thus far, but COVID-19 can be horrible for our employees if they were to get extremely ill, which is going to result in an increased cost to the county. But hopefully, we've really had a good year. So hopefully everything will just kind of continue that way.
Angie, is that the page you need?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't do that one. That was just
okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I think the question's been answered, though, that the employees will not necessarily see a premium increase, which is terrific news to everybody.
Yep.
And
yes.
And the reason I brought that up is in the past, we've tried to give some kind of a small increase in pay, and then we come back and the employees say it costs us that much for the extra insurance.
Yeah.
So that's why this is all tied together. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Mr. McKim?
Yeah, no, I guess I would like to see those numbers on the screen, but I'm certainly still inclined to support a flat amount per hour for all employees, just because I think we've all been concerned lately about how difficult it is, particularly in Bloomington and Monroe County on the lower income, particularly. And so I think that might be a good way to do it, even though it's not necessarily, on the cycle, in our usual cycle of alternating, we'd be doing a percentage increase this year. There's no law that says we have to do it that way.
So Michelle, can you kind of walk us through and explain what we're looking at here?
Yes, what I did was I captured the 2020 amount, and then I converted it into a 26 pay. So that way you could compare apples to apples. So for the minimum level, I have minimum 3-year and 14-year on this. But right now we'll just look at the minimum, or would you rather look at a different one? You want to do it doesn't,
Minimum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Minimum's fine. Okay. So on the, you'll see in the 2020 and for 2020, because we were having the 27 pays, we converted to a base hourly rate. So, and then the salaries are always approximate now. So you will see that for a Comet 1 in 2020 is $14.34. If you do the percentage, which is a 2.3, you will see an increase of 33 cents. So for the percentage COLA. But if you do the flat rate, which is if you take the 2.3, and I worked with Jordan and we, figured that amount out, it's 57 cents. And so then you'll see a person go from $14.34 to $14.91. So that's pardon? Oh,
sorry.
Okay, and then so the difference then, percentage wise, is this person would only see a $600 COLA increase, whereas here they would see $1,000, and we it's rounded up due to the, the way that we do it. So it's always rounded up to $1,038. So they will see that increase. And then you will see the flat will stay consistent all the way through. But if you use a percentage, this person here as a comment 1 gets 33 with a 600. But then if you scroll down and as it gets low, to the higher paid positions, you'll see that the hourly rate goes up as well as the annual amount as well, so that the person, anybody in the PATS or the EXEs will get a larger increase and a larger COLA or a larger annual amount comparatively.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's all very helpful. Are there any questions or comments on any of this data? Mr. McKim?
Yeah, I don't suppose, Kim, probably given the timing on this, you don't have the estimates of the impact on each fund on this.
No,
I mean, I know you did it for the 2.3%. So we have something approximate, and I just did it back of the napkin calculation from that, and it came out to about $500,000 for the frozen levy and the PS lit. So it's just to kind of, and that's the number I've been using, but that's only approximate. And this, if going to a flat amount might change that slightly. I mean, it's probably not going to change it radically, but it could change it.
And that was based on the 2.3%. Is that what you said?
Yes. Yeah, because Kim had done that research for us before and sent that out.
Anything else? I see Ms. Hawk's hand up. Okay. Yeah, Mr. McKim.
I mean, is there anyone who is proposing a different path other than the 2.3% cost of living adjustment converted to a flat amount per hour, which would be 57 cents per hour? Is there anyone who would propose a different path than that?
I don't see anyone interested in doing that. I think I would be interested in going with this pathway, the 2.3% with the flat amount associated with it. Michelle, did you have a?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify that even though I use the 35-hour grid, the 40-hour grid with regards to the hourly rates are the same. So whatever a comment 1 at the minimum is $14.67, that will be the same amount for a 40-hour. It's $14.67. So the only difference then would be the annual amount because of the 35 to 40. I just wanted to make that clear.
That makes life easier. We used to have to use the 8/7 conversion factor between the 35 hours and 40. And at least when we do a flat amount, we don't need to worry about that.
Yeah. Mr. Iverson, did you have a question?
No, I withdraw my question.
Okay.
So am I correct? I thought I heard Michelle say that some of the PAT salaries would not have as high an increase under the flat rate, but it looked like to me it was just the EXEs. Is that correct?
No, I mean, as you scroll down and you'll notice the lowest amount is usually, you can find those in the comments. And then as you go down and the categories get, the pay increases get higher, you'll see larger hourly rates as well as annual rates. So the comments, if you go comments, LTCs, civ polls, will not see a big increase as you would with PATs and EXEs. They tend to have the larger increases when you go percentage wise, and especially the EXEs.
So
Right.
basically, in that example there, the EXE2 would do much better under the percentage method than in the flat rate, which we know. We know that the lower paid employees do better under a flat rate percentage-wise than the higher paid employees.
Yeah.
Right.
Did that answer your question, Ms. Welts?
No, I mean, I was just looking at this table and what I'm seeing is EXEs are the ones who would do better under the other, but I didn't see a single case in any of the other classifications that.
And these are the minimum.
Yeah, this is the
pay
min-
amount, right? Yeah.
Sure, right, okay.
So it could be exaggerated a little bit more if you look at actual salary.
Right. If you go,
I see when we scroll over. Thank you. Yes,
So,
that helps.
Yeah.
Thank you. Got it.
this right here is for a 3-year person, and then this is a 14-year person.
Thank you. Yes, I wasn't looking across. So can we talk just a little bit about why we're choosing 2.3%? I mean, I know we've kind of done that already, but I think it would be good to get out here in the conversation again.
I can try to answer that in that we have for a long time, I mean, almost as long as I've been on the council, maybe as long as I've been on the council, we've adopted a practice of using the previous year's CPI change for the Midwest region. And that would be December to December change. And we've done that every year except the years that maybe 1 or 2 years that we've not been able to give any increase at all because things were really rough. But for every year that we've given an increase, we've tried to use that CPI change. And this year, if we use that method, Midwest CPI, December to December, it comes out to a 2.3% increase.
Thank you.
So it's not magic, but it is consistent with past practices in terms of CPI increase.
It's consistent magic. I like it.
Councilor Hawk.
Yes, what will we do a couple of years from now or next year when we see that amount go down and not up? Or we're not gonna, what? I mean, well, really?
No, my head had gone there too. Yeah.
Anyway, that's just something to think about. I hope we don't have to think about it, but.
Yes, Mr. Deckard.
I think, I talk a lot about generally how we take care of our folks and salaries and the things that we do. And I'm glad that there is an increase in here. My wish would always be that there were more to kind of answer that, though, that this place that we find ourselves, we've kind of celebrated today some numbers that we have received, but making note, as I think Peter did earlier, we don't know about those future years. We've talked about that all throughout these hearings in this year, that we don't know about future years. And we certainly don't know what in a month it's going to be like in this community. Think about right now, we have restaurants that are outside, but the weather gets cold. And so what's the plan for that? Right now I'm teaching in a classroom and not many other people are. And so there's just a lot of uncertainty, and I'm glad to see an increase in here, or an increased proposal in times of uncertainty. To kind of answer Marty's question, what would we do if that goes down? I think that for our employees, we would be humane and supportive, and we would make hopefully decisions as best we can to take care of our people. And the one great thing that we have done, which I think keeps coming back over and over, is we have built funds to support services for years that get leaner and messier. And we were talking about a rainy day transfer earlier, and I think there's hope in all that, and we've been figuring this out a month to a year at a time as we do it.
Yes, Councilmember Hawk.
Yes, I think we need to be very open to understanding that the people who are out there that are working right now in the private sector, their income has gone up. And since ours comes in a year later, we have to be very careful that we understand they are hurting right now, the people out there. They're trying to figure out how they're going to buy their groceries, or maybe they've got one spouse is laid off or cut back or whatever. And so while I'm happy that we have the revenue in from the income received by our constituents in 2019, we have to be very careful that we don't celebrate too much, because this is really their money we're spending.
Yes. Any further questions or comments? Mr. Kim?
Council, I move that we add to the budget a 57-cent per hour rate increase for full-time county employees.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, any further discussion on this?
I mean, obviously, this is all still just preliminary, since we haven't even advertised or had the hearing yet. But at least this will direct the auditor's office and the council budget office to add this to the budget as for advertisement.
Okay. Anything further?
I would like to.
Yes, Ms. Munson.
Yes, I would be interested in seeing 4B versions, one with 57 cents per hour and one with the 2.3%. How hard would that be to calculate?
I didn't hear that question.
Well, Michelle has already done the analysis for the 2.3% on a previous day, so we can just add up those numbers and subtract them from or add them to the budget, and then she could do that same work. Hopefully, that same analysis for the 57 cents, and then we can just. So it would not be difficult. In other words.
Good. I think we all should just take a look at that.
I was going to say, it's not going to happen today.
No, not today.
Ms. Wiltz?
And I realize this is not the same topic, but I'm interested in looking at our departments that have part-time lines, and I know we have a WIS study out there too, but I would like to see what the effect of making our part-time, raising our part-time rates to a higher minimum, say, would be. And because I feel like they're left, part-time employees are left out of the conversation. And I'd like to take a look at that soon.
Yeah, it's that one is a little different problem, just because we don't have fixed. I mean, we give department heads ranges rather than individual salaries. But yeah, I mean, we have had, I think it was last year that we had to increase the minimum on an airport line, the part-time line that was just ridiculously low.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly should make sure that all the part-time lines and I know Parks has to deal with that all the time. You're right. So yeah,
I mean, brought Parks up, but last year, and I just feel like we need to not forget to kind of do that check.
Eric, can I address that?
Yes.
Okay, so what we can do, we always advertise the budget higher in case something changes at the end, that we're not understating our budget and end up with it cut back in the end. So why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead and figure out how many part-time hours there are across the county, add the 57 cents in, add that to the budget, and then when you guys come back to your final budget hearing, tell you what that is, and you can either include that or not include that, but it would be advertised. That would give you time to think about it and look at the 4Bs.
When is advertisement done?
Would be next week.
Next week.
Well, we'd be getting it together. We'd have to add that to it. We'd take what Kim already has together and we would add however many hours there are,
Yeah.
a percentage of it.
I wasn't prepared for this part of it today. I'm not prepared to make that even a preliminary vote on that right now. I'm open to it, but I just need some more time to think. We need some more information and data put together to look at before we can make that decision. I feel like that's my personal opinion. Ms. Hawk?
Yes, and truly, we can always do that with an additional next year when we get all of our information together. We feel more like we know what we're doing, then we can make those adjustments for part-time if we feel like we need to do that.
I agree.
Ms. Shell?
What I want to say is that according to our schedule, and if we want to stay on our schedule, so that we can have the public hearing on the 29th and we can have the adoption on October the 14th, we have to advertise on the 18th of this week. So that means I've got to be able to change all the salaries and this kind of thing. The easiest thing to do, if you want to include part-time hourly, an increase, is just take everyone's part-time hourly and add a 2.3% kind of thing. That boosts that, but that doesn't mean we have to stay with that. But
leave it.
I don't want to extend any time with regards to our publishing this or advertising, because otherwise that's going to move all of our dates forward.
I want to get back to Mr. McKim's motion and keep everything relevant to that. So his motion was on regarding full-time employees. For now, we can talk about part-time employees after we vote on that if we want to. But for now, are there any other questions or comments on Mr. McKim's motion? Okay, I think we'll take a roll call vote to include this in the preliminary budget.
Councilor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Councilor McKim,
Yes.
Councilor Deckard,
Yes.
Councilor Munson,
Yes.
Councilor Wiltz,
Yes.
Councilor Iverson,
Yes.
Councilor Hawk.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimous.
Okay. So that is all set. We'll get the budget advertised on the 18th, right? Okay. Are there any other, I know we were talking about part-time earlier. Do we want to discuss that now? It sounds like there was at least 3 of us who wanted just a little bit more time to get some data together and maybe study that more before we have make a decision.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's a valid thing to talk about, but yeah, we don't have the information right now.
Correct. Okay. Okay, so that was all I had for us today. I want to give everybody an opportunity to make some final comments here before we adjourn this series of meetings. Who would like to get started? If anyone.
Well, I'll just start.
Yeah, go ahead. Ms. Munson.
I'm very glad that we're wrapping up. And I think we've done a really great job with our focus on the 4B and coming back to draft versions as we've moved through this process. I think that's been very helpful. And I very much want to thank Kim Schell, Megan Miller, and the Auditor's Office staff for helping us get through our main responsibility, and that is to fund the services that Monroe County needs.
Councilor Hawk?
Yes, I want to make sure that we include a big thank you as well to Brianna Gregory, because she's been giving us updated budget reports, and she and Kim Schell will be working in tandem together in future will not have us. But beyond all that, we could not have done and been prepared to do and make decisions if it had not been from the leadership, President Spoonmore, and especially a big shout out to Councilmember Jeff McKim, because he is just on top of it and brings us more information constantly. And we rely so heavily on his expertise. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to work with everybody here on the council. We don't all have to agree, and we don't, but we can say thank you to those who are putting out so much work.
Thank you, Councilor Hawk. Ms. Munson?
I want to second what Ms. Hawk just said, but I really want to thank TSD and also CATS for helping us communicate and to communicate with the residents of Monroe County. Thank you so much for your hard work. We couldn't do it without you.
Councilor McKim?
Yeah, total team effort, and thank you to everybody and all the department heads and all of the taxpayers as well. Also, just wanted to clarify the dates again for the next couple of steps, just for the public. Kim, you said advertisement would be the 18th approximately, and you will put in the advertised budget on the website as well, right, on our budget page.
Correct.
Because I know that provides more detail than the online advertisement does. That's great. And then the time and date for budget hearing?
Is September the 29th at 5 p.m.
September 29th at 5 p.m. That is a public hearing, so that is an opportunity for the public to make comments about the budget. And of course, I assume that will be on Zoom as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilor Hawk?
Yes, I think it's imperative that we get a news release out about the changes in the information we were trying to get for the Monroe Fire District, because even after we had that big meeting where it was showing how much the taxes were going to change, I've seen absolutely no comments about that in the press or anything going out to the public. And that's why we have to get that going somehow. Whoever's in charge, somebody get that going.
Yeah, we can work on that and contact our partners in the media as well too. Mr. Deckard, did you have a question or comment?
Just a comment. I was just going to thank everybody for the work. I thanked Eric for running these meetings and always keeping us cool with all of us and all of our things. And Kate Wiltz, who read more motions than I think I've ever heard in my life, and does it like a saint. And Jeff, as Marty said, with expertise, and Marty also with her experience and expertise.
Yes.
And all in Cheryl and Peter. Just it's been tremendous to work with everyone on the council. Kim Shell, who also has the patience of a saint, and Megan on all those roll calls, all the folks that do this, all the department heads that have helped us in this process, told their narrative in this week and given input as we've done things. I appreciate that too. I know we've heard from folks throughout this process, not just on their budgets, but others. And that's awesome. A member of the public came up to me on the square on Saturday and commented about the detail that we have on our budgets. And it made me reflect on other levels of government and other details that they do and do not get into. And I think for those watching, this is how we do things at the county. It's a big thing with lots of moving parts. And my gosh, the narrative is all right here. If you want to know what's going on, you have to watch these meetings. Now, it's going to take you time to watch it, and it takes us time to get through it. And so it's all right there, every bit of it. And so if other governmental units, if other levels maybe did a little bit of attention on that, it might be a thing that helped them through some of the politics that they've got. And so with that, I just want to thank everybody for that and our portion. I certainly had the easy end, and other people worked much harder than me. So I'm grateful. Thank you.
Anything else? I'll just finish up here then with some brief remarks. I think for the first budget workshop meetings that we've in Monroe County government history that we've done on Zoom, I thought this went, for the most part, very smooth. I know it seemed like we had some long days, some long evenings as we were discussing a lot of things, but it just means we're doing our job. So I want to thank all of my colleagues on council for all of your work on this. I know it's been a lot. There's still some more work that we'll be doing, but I appreciate everything. Thanks to all of our county employees for all of their work and helping us get prepared for these meetings in an unprecedented year where there's been so many challenges. Really, really appreciate all of that. And finally, just want to thank the taxpayers too for giving us this opportunity to be in these roles. It is truly a great honor to be able to do this work on behalf of the Monroe County residents. I think we're in a really good place here. I think we got a great plan for the budget for 2021. These things all require negotiations and compromises to some extent, and I appreciate all of the work again that you all put into this. And we may see some further changes before we finally adopt it later here in the next month or so. But this has been a good process, and I appreciate everything that you've done. So we will we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting now, and look forward to seeing you all next time at the end of September for our work session. Is there anything else that the council staff office has for us? Okay, great. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you, President Spoonmore.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye.